color caste system that was built over hundreds of years, and that caste system still affects how black people see life today. When black person is harmed, society asks what that black person did wrong. When a black person is attacked, society asks why the black person didn't walk away. Isn't that the same questions they asking about Carmelo Anthony? They gave that boy 35 years. Did y'all hear that? 35 years. This boy's 19 years old. When a black person is afraid, society doubts the fear. When black people is angry, society calls that anger dangerous. When black person defends himself, society acts like he had no right to defend himself, right? That's what we see, right? I'm just explaining it to you. You might not like what I had to say. I'm just giving you the rules to operate by, family. Many of you all didn't like the fact that I said, hey, you can't use excessive force in response to somebody's normal force, or you can't use dangerous, deadly force. I'm trying to save you from a 35-year bid. Do y'all want to hear what I have to say, or you want to be mad? You can be mad all you want to, but I'm telling you, you need to act accordingly. At least I'm decent enough to give you the historical background so you can understand why we are the way we are, so you can at least have some understanding of why we act accordingly. That's what lower status does. That's what a lower social status does. It makes your pain negotiable. It makes your fear unbelievable. It makes your death debatable. It makes your life easier to dismiss. So when we say black life doesn't matter, we aren't saying black life has no value. We're saying America has never treated black life as having equal value. America created a system where black people were placed at the bottom, and it is convenient. And every institution was used to keep us there. Religion, science, law, education, media, the justice system, politics, economic culture. This is where we at. That's the point. Black people have a lower social status because America and the broader and Western world spent hundreds of years building a racial caste system that may put blackness at the bottom. And when blackness is placed at the bottom, black life becomes easier to disrespect, easier to blame, easier to criminalize, easier to cage, easier to ignore, easier to kill. Somebody type 35 years. Now, since the 1970s forward, mass incarceration, the caste system has changed clothes. Again, crime, welfare, drugs, urban disorder, law and order, those became coded ways to mark black people as dangerous and lower. Anti-black racism didn't appear from nowhere in 1619. We talked about that history, but this is where we are now. You see? They could have given up the money, white folk. They could have fed people. They could have paid laborers. They could have stopped raping enslaved black women. They could have stopped selling our children. They could have stopped building wealth off forced labor. But instead, they stripped the whole black segment of the world population of its humanity because it was easier to oppress people after they convinced themselves that we weren't fully people. And they needed it. They did it for the money. And see, here's the other thing, family. I want y'all to listen to. You're not going to like this. I'm going to go back somewhere you don't like again, but you're going to listen anyway. When I'm talking about how society as a whole has been trained to see black life as less valuable, that's not just white people. And it's not just the other minorities and the Asians either. That includes black people. I'm talking about you all. And see, that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Black people don't even value black lives, do you? Let's be honest. What's the bigger threat to black life? Is it white people killing black people? Is that the biggest threat? No, it's not. The biggest threat to black people is black people killing black people. And that doesn't mean white police killings don't matter. But if we're talking about raw numbers of dead black bodies, then most black victims aren't killed by white people. Most black victims are killed by other black people. And that's why the phrase Black Life Matters has always been incomplete. If black life only matters when offenders are white, then black life doesn't really matter, does it? What matters is the politics of the offender. What matters is the racial storyline. What matters is whether the death can be used to prove white racism. So when we have to be honest, and I'm just talking to black folk, listen, you ain't got to like what I'm saying. I don't care. Somebody type I don't care in the chat room. See, black death only matters when it has a political value. And the data makes this impossible to avoid. In 2023, black people had a homicide victimization rate of 21.3 per 100,000 people. That's a lot. White people had a rate of 3.2 per 100,000 people. That means black people were murdered at more than 6 times the rate of white people. So if we're serious about black life, that should be treated as a national emergency. But it's not treated that as a national emergency, is it? Because most of those black victims aren't killed by white police officers or white vigilantes or non-black defendants, are they? Most are killed by other black people. And that's where the caste system becomes internal. It's not just that white life outranks black life in America. It's that black life has been so devalued that even black people can become numb and have become numb to black death. If a little black child gets shot in the neighborhood, and you know what people are going to say? They're going to say, that's sad. They're going to put his face on a t-shirt and keep it moving. If a black woman goes missing, her family has to beg people to share the flyer. A black man gets murdered by another black man, and unless the facts are shocking enough to go viral, the story just disappears. But let a white cop kill a black person, and now everybody knows and cares about it. That's the problem. Black life shouldn't need a white offender to become valuable. People love to say black on black crime, okay? And it doesn't prove that we're uniquely violent. That's not what but the data doesn't, that's not what it shows. Data shows that most murders are intraracial. In other words, most white people are killed by white people. Black people usually kill black people. Hispanic people kill Hispanic people, Asian on Asian, etc. Because most of those murders are largely about proximity. People usually kill people they're nearby. See? For instance, 84% of white homicides killed by white people. 88% of black homicides killed by black people. That's between 20 and 2023. It shows that 75% of Hispanic homicide victims are Hispanic offenders. It shows that 65% of Asian homicide victims are killed by Asian offenders. So the issue isn't black people are the only group with intraracial violence. The issue is that America only weaponizes interracial violence when it's black people involved. Nobody says white on white crime is a problem. Every time a white person kills another person, nobody treats white on white murder as proof that white people don't value white life. Nobody says white culture is defective every time a white man kills his wife and his children and his co-workers and his classmates or people in the neighborhood. But when black people kill black people, suddenly the whole race is on trial. But still, somebody type, but still, we can't hide behind that point. White people kill white people too, and black on black crime is often used in a racist way. But none of that changes the fact that black people are being murdered at more than 6 times the rate of white people by black people. But see, we only get loud when the killer is white. We only organize when the story fits the civil rights frame. We only care when the death can be blamed on somebody outside the community. That's why I say black life doesn't matter enough to black people. That's the real issue. The only time America consistently gives black death full value is when the killer is white or when the case can be framed as a racial story. And that's why white police killings get played over and over. That's why white vigilante killing of a black person becomes a national news. That's why non-black business owners killing a black child who ran 130 yards to get away from him can become a national racial flashpoint. And I'm not saying those cases don't deserve attention. They do. They deserve scrutiny. They deserve outrage. But if we only care, then we aren't really defending black life. We're defending black life only when it can be used to indict somebody.